Good morning. We will discuss conceptual framework and accounting standards under lecture number 13. In this particular topic, we will tackle earnings per share. Let's define the simplest meaning of earnings per share. Earnings per share is the computed amount of income earned by each ordinary shareholder. The computation is based on a per share basis. The word or the term itself, earnings per share. The earnings per share is for the information of the shareholder concerning how much income the shareholder earned on a per share basis. Example, if I have 100 shares in a particular corporation, the earnings per share will show to me how much I earn per share of ownership in that particular corporation. The earnings per share figure is the amount attributable to every ordinary share outstanding during the period. In other words, the computation of the earnings per share is based on the total outstanding ordinary share capital. This is attributable only to ordinary share capital. The earnings per share information, as I have said, is for ordinary share capital only. It is not necessary for preference share because there is a definite rate of return for such share. If you will notice, whenever preference share was presented in the financial statements, a certain percentage was indicated therein. Such percentage pertains to the percentage of income that the preference shareholder may earn in that particular ownership in a certain corporate entity. That is the reason why earnings per share is not necessary for preference share because of the presence of that percentage whenever you present preference share in the shareholders' equity statement. The computation requires two presentations. So, we have the basic earnings per share and the diluted earnings per share. When we say basic earnings per share, this is just the ordinary or the basic earnings per share that a shareholder expects to earn in a normal situation. The diluted earnings per share happened when there is additional outstanding shares. The additional outstanding shares may be brought about by the dividends declaration or additional issuance by the corporation. The diluted earnings per share also happened when there are some treasury shares that was purchased by the corporation. The diluted earnings per share also happened when there is a reduction in the net income of the corporation. The presentation of earnings per share is required for the following. Letter A, entities whose ordinary shares are publicly listed. Remember this, the entities who are publicly listed are required to present earnings per share as part of income statement. What do you mean by publicly traded or publicly listed corporations? These corporations are private corporations that are participating in the stock market. These are the private corporations who are members of the Philippine Stock Exchange or PSE. They are called publicly traded or publicly listed because their ordinary share capital is being offered for sale to the public, to the investors. Letter B, entities that are in the process of issuing ordinary shares or potential ordinary shares in the public securities market. Even though the corporate entity is not yet a member of the PSE, even though that particular ordinary share is not yet actively participating in any financial market, but if that particular corporate entity is in the process of issuing ordinary shares, they have definite plan to offer ordinary shares in the public. They are required to present earnings per share in their income statement as part of the requirement for them to qualify as member of the Philippine Stock Exchange. Next, in short, public entities are required to present earnings per share. Let me clarify again and again that public entities are those entities whose share is being offered in the public. Public entities are private corporations, but their ordinary share capital are being offered for sale in the market, specifically the Philippine Stock Exchange or stock market. Next, non-public entities are not required but are encouraged to present earnings per share. Example, ADC Corporation is not a publicly listed corporation. This corporation is not participating in Philippine Stock Exchange. They are not required. However, they are encouraged to present earnings per share in their financial statements, specifically in the income statement. As we have said, another emphasis, public entities are those participating and members in the Philippine Stock Exchange. They are private corporations. It so happened that their share capital is being offered for sale in the market. Non-public entities are those who are not members of the Philippine Stock Exchange. Again and again, they are all private corporations. What are the uses of earnings per share? Letter A, it is a determinant of the market price of ordinary shares, thus indicating the attractiveness of the ordinary share as an investment. If a corporate entity is presenting its earnings per share in the income statement, potential investors will be attracted, will be convinced to invest in that particular corporation. If many investors wants to invest in that particular corporation with good earnings per share, the market price would probably be increased. If the earnings per share, as I have said, is continuously going up, that means the company is performing well. It follows that if the net income is consistently increasing, that company is performing well. Following the law of supply and demand, many investors would be attracted because of the favorable earnings per share. As a result, the market price per share would increase. This is the favorable effect if the earnings per share is presented in the income statement and that earnings per share reflects favorable picture, favorable image for the company. Letter B, another use of earnings per share. It is a measure of performance of management in conducting operations. It is an indication of profitability. The higher the earnings per share, the better the performance of an entity. It is a common sense to everybody. If you see an earnings per share that is continuously increasing over the years, that is a strong indication that the company is performing well and the management is doing well in its job. Next, it is the basis of dividend policy of an entity. Some companies are using the amount of earnings per share in the distribution of dividends. Example, if the earnings per share is 2 pesos per share, that will be the basis. If you have 100 shares, 100 multiplied by 2, that will be the dividend that you will receive in that corporation. Some corporations use this as the most reliable basis in the distribution of dividends. For example, Annabelle Corporation declared dividends, the payment of which will be based on the number of shares of each shareholder. This is the usual practice. You will receive dividends depending on your ownership of that particular corporation. In this particular example, Annabelle Company will distribute the dividends depending upon the number of shares of that particular shareholder. Let's continue. The earnings per share is 10 pesos per share. It so happened that Alexander is a shareholder of this corporation and he owns 10,000 shares. How much will be the dividend to be received by Alexander, the shareholder? Alexander will receive 100,000 pesos dividend income. That is the earnings per share of 10 pesos multiplied by 10,000 shares. That is how we compute. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Let's continue our discussion. Okay, let's continue. As we have said, the the earnings per share of Alexander, the shareholder in this case, is 100,000 pesos. That is 10 pesos earnings per share multiplied by 10,000 shares. Let's continue. So we will now discuss the presentation of earnings per share in the income statement of an entity. The basic and diluted earnings per share shall be presented for income or loss from continuing operations. That is how we present. Shall be presented for income or loss for continuing operations. An entity that reports a discontinuing operations shall disclose the basic and diluted amounts per share for the discontinued operations either on the face of the income statement or in the notes to financial statements. But most companies are presenting the earnings per share in the income statement so that the readers of the financial statements can easily determine or can easily see, can easily notice how much is the earnings per share. An entity shall present basic and diluted earnings per share even if the amounts are negative. Example, basic loss per share. If the company suffered losses in the current year, in that particular year of operations, the loss per share will form part of the income statement for transparency purposes. Next, when an entity presents both consolidated and separate financial statements, the disclosures required by the standard need be presented only on the basis of consolidated information. So this presentation is applicable to consolidated financial statements. Presents both consolidated and separate financial statements. This is applicable to a conglomerate or group of companies. So, in that particular case, if ABC company is the mother company, ABC is required to present earnings. Okay, let's continue our discussion. Sorry again for the interruption. We have intermittent internet connection in our place. Let's continue. As I have said in our example, if ABC company is the mother company, ABC company is required to present earnings per share in the consolidated financial statements. ABC company is also required to present earnings per share on each single separate financial statements. That is the meaning of this particular provision of the standards. So this is now the formula for the computation of earnings per share. The basic earnings per share equals net income divided by ordinary shares outstanding. That is how we compute. We have to remember the following in using this formula for earnings per share. First one, the net income is equal to the amount after deducting dividends on preference share. So, the net income that we will use in this formula should be net of deductions of dividends. The dividends that pertain to preference shares should be deducted first before we compute the basic earnings per share. If the preference share is cumulative, the preference dividend for the current year only is deducted from the net income, whether such dividend is declared or not. What do you mean by cumulative preference share? Cumulative means any unpaid dividends in the previous year shall be accumulated and shall be paid in one particular year. But in this provision of the standard, if the preference share is cumulative, the preference dividend for the current year only shall be deducted from the net income. So, such the dividend of the previous years will not be deducted. Let's continue. If the preference share is non-cumulative, the preference dividend for the current year is deducted from net income only if there is declaration. If there is no declaration on that particular current year, no dividends shall be deducted from the net income. If there is a significant change in the ordinary share capital during the year, the weighted average number of ordinary shares outstanding during the period should be used as denominator. So in this case, let's see, let's analyze, let's understand the statement. If there is significant change in the ordinary share capital during the year, what do you mean by significant change? There was an increase or there was a decrease in the outstanding share balance. We will use the average number of ordinary shares as denominator. We will get the weighted average of the total ordinary shares outstanding, which will be served as the denominator in the formula. So let's solve this problem concerning earnings per share. Annabelle Corporation provided the following information for the current year 2022. So here we can see preference share capital, 100 pesos par value, 10% cumulative, 1 million pesos. What can you notice? This is cumulative preference share capital. And you can see the 10%, which is the percentage of dividends to be given to the preference shareholder. Next, ordinary share capital, 100 peso par value, 50,000 shares, 5 million pesos. Next, income from continuing operations, 1,500,000 pesos. And then we will add the income from discontinued operations of 500,000 pesos. The net income, the total net income is 2 million pesos. What do you mean by income from discontinued operations? Example, Annabelle Corporation has a branch in Cotabato. They decided to close the branch in Cotabato because of peace and order situation in the place. So, when that branch was closed and it has an existing net income, that net income is the income from discontinued operations. That is what we meant by income from discontinued operations. Next, compute for the company's basic earnings per share. Here is the solution for Annabelle Corporation. The formula is net income from continuing operations. We will compute. We will compute for the numerator. The net income from continuing operations is 1,500,000 pesos. We will deduct the preference dividend for 2022. That is 10% multiplied by 1 million pesos. So that is 100,000 pesos. The net income that pertains to ordinary shares is 1,400,000 pesos. So we will now compute for the basic earnings per shares for net income from continuing operations. What can you notice? We use net income from continuing operations. We did not include net income from discontinued operations. That is the usual practice in the computation of the earnings per share. We are not supposed to include income from discontinued operations. So let's continue. The basic earnings per share for net income from continuing operations is 1,400,000 pesos divided by 50,000 shares. That refers to ordinary shares outstanding. So the basic earnings per share is 28 pesos. That is how we compute the earnings per share. Exclude the income from discontinued operations and deduct the preference dividend for that particular year. So let's continue. Let's now compute for the basic earnings per share for net income from discontinued operations as given in the problem. It is 500,000 pesos divided by 50,000 shares. 10 pesos is the basic earnings per share for the net income from discontinued operations. We are presenting this because we just want to inform the readers of the financial information that when this company closed one of its branches, it is earning 10 pesos per share. We just want to inform them that if this branch, if this operation was not closed, the earnings per share could be higher. So that ends our discussion for this day. So we will continue our discussion in our succeeding meetings. Thank you and bye-bye.